The Goat House is back with score predictions and picks against the spread for every single NFL game in Week 18. We'll be back every single week for the playoff picks as well. Let's break down my picks for Week 18. Some Saturday football. Browns and Ravens, the largest line, the largest spread of the season so far, 17.5. I have the Ravens winning 27-10. They're capable of scoring a bit more than that. I got it right around that line, though, and that's why I wouldn't touch it. Another reason I wouldn't touch it is Ravens are going to go full go because they want to win. They win to clinch their division, clinch the 3 seed, right? So they're going to try, but Browns, the way they're playing, DTR, they're not going to come from behind on anyone. So do the Ravens get a big lead, and then do they kind of gradually start to put some backups in, hit the brakes a little bit? Definitely could see that. So that's why I would lean towards a 17.5, but wouldn't touch it. 27-10 Ravens is what I got. They got to win their division. Look for them to do that on Saturday. The other Saturday game, a good one, a bit on the line here. Bengals-Steelers. I have the Bengals winning in a close one, 26-24 for a couple reasons. But yeah, the Bengals obviously need to win, and then they'll look forward to the other games. They need the Broncos lose against the Chiefs and the Dolphins lose against the Jets. Somewhat doable. First, they have to take care of business win here, so they're going to go full out, full go. They're also playing a little bit better lately, even though the defense I still think is very much bad. But on offense, they're trying to make the drives go a little longer, march down the field and drain more clock to limit the opposing offense's chances. They're doing a pretty good job at that. I know the Broncos still scored some points on them, but they did that enough. You saw it early in the game. So I think they do that here while they're getting better. Steelers are declining a little bit. Steelers are going to try and imagine. They would like for the Ravens to lose their game earlier on Saturday because if they lose, Steelers win, then they win their division, get the 3 seed. And that's the case. Steelers probably really go at it. Like the only focus is to win a division. Most likely the Ravens are going to win. Steelers still likely will try because they want the 5 seed, not the 6. The Chargers could sneak up on them when the Steelers lost, Chargers win, and they flip. Play the Texans in the first round if you're the 5 seed, or you want to play the Ravens in the first round. You'd rather play the Texans. So Steelers probably still try. Focus might be on the playoffs. So for all those reasons, I'll take the Bengals 26-24. You could bet it if you're feeling it too, straight up, money line, use it in the parlay. But I think a safer parlay, pretty good pick, be plus 4.5. If the Bengals lose, it will be less than that line. Sunday, Panthers and Falcons. I think it's going to be closer than the line shows right now. 8.5. If you want to play a little safer, you can use, tease it, use it in a parlay, however you like it. 14.5. If that's not the greatest odds, I know the line keeps changing. Could go 13.5, but the Panthers are missing Hubbard. That's why it's tough in this one. But and their season's over. The Falcons need to win the game. They need the Bucs to lose to get in the playoffs, win their division. But Panthers feel like a spoiler type team. They can play them a little close. They'll move the ball here. But Bijan's going to be the reason the Falcons win. The Panthers are really struggling stopping running backs. Bijan Robinson's going to run wild in this game. But the Panthers can keep up here. I think Bryce Young's been playing very well. He can play a solid game. 8.5 seems like a bit. 28-24. I'm feeling the Falcons to win this one, but it could be a little bit of a trap game, just team playing spoiler. But again, Bijan, Algier on the ground game, it should be an easier way to victory. Not that they're going to win big. They should be able to dominate the ground, control the clock. Commanders and Cowboys. I got the Commanders winning 26-23. Yeah, Cowboys can play spoiler a little bit. The Commanders are in the playoffs, but they want to hold on to that 6 seed rather than drop down to the 7 seed and play the Eagles for a third time, and this time would be Hurts, we would think, the full game. So they're kind of in a battle with the Packers. If they win, it's not much of a battle. They get the 6 seed rather than the 7 seed. So they're going to try. They struggled with the Cowboys last time, and besides last week, other than last week against the Eagles, the Cowboys are playing teams pretty tough. So this could be a little interesting. Rico Dowdle could have a good game in this one. The Cowboys can play spoiler. They had CeeDee Lamb last time. They don't now. The Commanders, Dan Quinn, they said they're going full go. They want to win. They want to beat the Cowboys, division rival in this game. Dan Quinn probably wants to win it. So I think the Commanders handle business, but it seemed like a weird matchup for them last time. The Cowboys can keep it a little closer in this line of 4.5, a little bit closer. But because of all those reasons, I wouldn't touch this one if you're a betting man or woman here. But I do like the Commanders just taking care of business. Bears and Packers, we weren't really sure at first if the Packers would go full go, but it sure sounds like they will. Hopefully with the pick against the spread of 10 here, if you're picking them against the spread at -10, that they go full go for the entire game, because the Bears could kind of come back on teams sometimes. But so that's, I guess, the risky part of it with this one. But the Packers, I believe, will go full go. They rather have the 6 seed than the 7 seed. You don't want to play the Eagles in the first round. You rather play one of the other teams. Obviously, And the Packers, last year, they really kicked into gear right around this time at the very, very end. And going into the playoffs, they got even better. Division rival in Green Bay. I think they want that momentum. I think they want to ride that. I think they know they need that. Young players, they want to feast off that. They've been dominant at home lately. They've been dominant at home lately, and especially against teams that they're just better than, and they're better than the Bears. So that's why I have them covering the 10, but I wouldn't bet on the 10. I have them winning by 11, but you can parlay. You can use Green Bay at an adjusted line, alternate line of 5.5. Covering that shouldn't really be a problem. I look for them to. I'm waiting for the first half lines to come out. At the time of recording this, I was trying to wait. I haven't seen any. Been using DraftKings, but I've been using that, looking at different apps as well, different sports books. But teams are do well covering the spread against the Bears in the first half, and the Bears kind of get things going in the second half. I guess we didn't really see that last week, but the Packers here, 27-16 in Lambeau. This game between the Texans and the Titans means absolutely nothing, as the Texans are locked into the playoffs at specifically the 4 seed. The Titans are out, but they are trying to get the first overall pick. I guess it means something with the Oilers. Houston Oilers, battle for Houston Oilers. I mean, the Titans are the Oilers, but there's always that debate, usually on social media with fans. So that could be fun. Those uniforms are fire, but Texans playing backups, Titans using both quarterbacks, apparently, Rudolph and Levis. I think Callahan's handled that pretty poorly. I don't know. Hasn't done a great job, but it'd be a move for these teams. The Titans win against Texan starters, and now the Texans backups beat the Titans. Could see that. Titans are playing really bad ball right now. Do they actually want to win? Texans gain some momentum going into the playoffs here. They win 19-17, more of a defensive game, even though it was a shootout last time. We'll see which of the Titans quarterbacks plays better. I'm gonna guess Levis does. But we'll see. I'll take the Texans 19-17, but given the circumstances, it's such a weird game. Nothing on the line. Texans playing backups, Titans switching quarterbacks. I wouldn't recommend putting money on it, but I'm kind of feeling the Texans. Difficult to pick the Titans right now. Jags at Colts. This game is meaningless as well. Does not mean anything. Both teams are out of the playoffs, obviously. I like the Colts. I'm actually kind of my voice got really high there. I'm really confident with the Colts, oddly confident after they just laid a stinker against the Giants of all teams. I mean, at least they were explosive on offense. I guess there's a chance they get really down. Hey, we're out of the playoffs. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's use backups. The veteran guys maybe a little down. The season's over. They're not risking anything. That's the risk here. But Colts are, won 5 of the last 6 at home against the Jags. I think they're the better team. I think they're probably pissed off about last week, kind of the laughing stock of the NFL on 1 week basis. So I think they get going in this game. Maybe Joe Flacco's last game. So if he ends up playing, it sure sounds like it. Richardson's really not doing really good with the health. Heard he couldn't even stand up at one point last week. That's a little odd because they kind of came out of nowhere then. I just trust the Colts a little bit more in this one. 26-17 in Indy. If this was in Jacksonville, I'd be one that I wouldn't touch. But I like how they play the Jags in Indianapolis. So I would actually bet the Colts minus 4.5. Of course, it's risky, but any bet is. If you're not feeling that, you can parlay the Colts money line. But 26-17 Colts is what I'm feeling. One of those teams I'm feeling this week in a weird week where not a lot on the line for some teams. Some teams, benching guys. A weird week always, obviously, in week 18. Bills, Patriots. I'm going to go with the Patriots, 20-17. Now, this is if Drake May plays. He was limited in practice earlier today, so I need him to play for me to continue on with this Patriots pick. It would be fun to see Joe Milton. Maybe, the Bills are going to play backups. They want to keep Josh Allen's starting streak alive. He's going to come in for a very short period of time. To me, that sounds like he might come in for a play. It's a drive maxima. I don't know why you'd risk that, though. No one else is going for a streak, really. They're playing backups. Josh Allen's the most valuable player in the league for a reason. Bills are a good team, well-coached team. You put Mitchell Trubisky in there, though. How much damage could they do? If Drake May plays, I like the Patriots, and they're underdogs in this game. It's a little weird, though. The Patriots aren't the best team. The Bills are so good. They're used to winning. The backups definitely could win and put up a fight with the Patriots. And how long does Josh Allen play? So I don't know. I'm tempted to say bet Patriots 2.5. I wish it was at 3.5. Then I would, perhaps. But play it safe. Use it in a parlay. Go plus 8.5, 7.5 at the lowest. That feels pretty good. But I'll take the Patriots. As long as Drake May is playing, don't expect a bunch of starters in at all, really, for the Bills. Expect Josh Allen for a couple plays, maybe a play. Giants and Eagles. I was really feeling the Eagles in this one when I thought it was going to be mainly backup, some starters, Kenny Pickett, then Saquon Barkley going for that rushing record, but now it came out to be all backups. They're not even having Barkley chase that record. I respect that. I'm still going to go with the Eagles. I don't like it as much, but they're going to keep it close. The Giants, I don't know what happened last week. That was insane with their offensive performance. they've been the worst team, for some time though. So Eagles are very well coached. I love their backups. It's a really good deep team. They can go out there and win a game. Feels like whoever's at quarterback here, Pickett, McKee. So I'd say I'm going to take the Eagles 20-16 defensive game, and I'd say you can use them in a parlay plus 3.5 if you are feeling it. Saints and Bucks. The Saints could play spoiler here as the Bucks need to win their division and get in. If they lose, they need the Falcons to lose as well. So will that happen? We see Saints are kind of on a roll over the last, not every single matchup, but in the last several matchups in Tampa. They've been winning these games. You always see, I feel like there's always an NFC South spoiler game at the end of the year. But the Saints are really struggling right now. They're beat up. Rattler at quarterback, but several other spots. Kamara's been out. And the Bucks are rolling on offense. The Saints can't stop the run. I think the Bucks can win with running the ball here. And again, I don't know if the Saints offense can do enough. So I like the Bucks to roll in this one. That's the type of mentality they have. The type of philosophy they have over there is we're going to go all out. We're going to go in there. We're going to win the division. Statement. Go into the playoffs hot, rolling, kind of like last year, and then they beat the Eagles. So they're going to go all out in this game. So I'll have them just covering the spread, even though it's quite big of 13.5, but so big that I would not bet on it, though. But we'll take the Bucks. It's going to be one of those spoiler ones. So out of the teams that could play spoiler, they have nothing to play for. I see over the past, into the 1990s, teams actually have success. So the Saints, the Panthers, teams like that, in this scenario, they actually have more success than not. So somebody's probably going to get upset this week. I just don't see how it could be the Bucks here. Chiefs and Broncos. Chiefs locked into that 1 seed. They are playing their backups. They're sitting the starters, and we'll see Carson Wentz play, obviously. Broncos going all out because if they win, they're in. They control their own destiny here. If they lose, they need some help. They need the Dolphins to lose. They need the Bengals. They'll know because the Bengals play on Saturday. So the Bengals win. The Broncos absolutely have to win their game, obviously, no matter what happens with Dolphins-Jets. So I'll take the Broncos at home. We're supposed to wear the throwbacks. Chiefs playing the backups. Now, the Chiefs are so well coached on both sides of the ball. I know you take Mahomes away, that's tough, but defense, they're so well coached. It feels like they have some random new rookie, random young guy in there. They develop them right away. They play well. Spagnuolo's a really good defensive coach that they play so well, on defense, coach so well on defense that they could put up a little bit of a fight here, I actually think. And Carson Wentz can play decent in that Andy Reid system. So the Chiefs could be really, really sneaky. I think that 10.5 is a little big, but I wouldn't bet on it because, again, it's backups. Broncos could just roll. It's a possibility. You could argue they outplayed the Chiefs starters last time they played. Not that it really matters right now, means anything right now, but my biggest issue specifically, I'm just picturing like a Chiefs backup corner in there guarding Cortland Sutton, just his physicality. That could be an issue. So the Broncos should definitely target that. They can win in other ways, of course. We'll take the Broncos 24-16. This is the ultimate spoiler sneaky game, even though the Chiefs have their backups in. I'm going to pass on that one, though, in terms of betting. Chargers and Raiders, we do have to keep an eye on the Steelers game on Saturday for this one because if the Steelers win, the Chargers are going to be locked into the 6th seed because they need the Steelers to lose to the Bengals and the Chargers need to win. And they get the 5 seed. Pretty significant difference. If you get the 5 seed, you play the Texans rather than the Ravens. So that is, and the Steelers have a shot at the 3 seed, keep in mind as well. So that's a factor. So if the Steelers win, the Chargers cannot catch them. So do they try then? So it's a little tough if you want to bet on 5.5. That line will probably really drop down if that's the case. But thinking Harbaugh, but they've had some injuries. I want to say Harbaugh wants to go all out, but they've had some injuries. They got to be careful. But I do have the Bengals winning, so the Chargers might be playing for a seed then. In that case, I do think they would cover the 5.5. I would definitely use them as a money line pick in a parlay. Raiders starting to play a little bit better than playing bad teams. The Chargers are much better. They'll handle business here. I have 26-17, but the Steelers game actually does matter for this one. But if you're a Chargers fan or if you're the Chargers, luckily you know what happens in that game on Saturday, and you get to wait a little bit before you play this one. Seahawks and Rams, and it's been confirmed that the Rams will play backups. Maybe there'll be some young starters that play. We really don't know for sure. Not guys like Puka Nacua. But yeah, think about the big-time players, the Rams. They actually have some durability concerns. You definitely want to sit them. It's not a surprise coming from McVay. He's all about just getting in the playoffs. I don't care who I play. We got to beat anybody we face to get there, to make it to the promised land anyway. So understandable. But, it could be the seeding could be because the Bucs could pass them if they win, the Rams lose. So you could end up playing the Vikings or the Lions in the first round because you did this. So that's the downside of this. Usually, I don't mind, but this year, because there's going to be a juggernaut team, it feels, at the 5 seed because what's going on in the NFC North. So it is a little tough. Except the Rams did beat the Vikings this year. If it's them, maybe they match up well with them. We will see. It's a totally different game this time around, but getting ahead of ourselves. So the Rams will play backups. Garoppolo's not a bad backup if he still has some left in the tank. We'll see. Yeah, I look at it like this: Seahawks, if both these teams try and play their starters, the Rams are better. But the Seahawks are right there with them. It's not that much further back. They could win the game against them. So now the Seahawks are probably playing all or most, if not all, most of their stars, and the Rams playing backups. We'll take the Seahawks in this one, 24-16. I wouldn't bet the 6.5. What if Garoppolo plays well with the good coaching staff, good team here? What if the Seattle Seahawks are messing around a little bit? What if they throw Howell in? I don't know if they're going to do that, but that's the scary part. We'll take Seattle money line since Rams are playing their backups. They're not focused on this game. They're focused on the playoffs. Dolphins and Jets. I'm going to go with the Jets in this one. This line could change. It came out sometime today that it'll be Tyler Huntley again for the Dolphins. They're sitting out Tua, which, it was a little odd because, Tua must be hurt then because they could make the playoffs. If the Broncos lose to the Chiefs, the Dolphins win, they're in. That's it. They don't have to worry about the Bengals, but they got to beat the Jets. It's a winnable game, I guess, even with Tyler Huntley in there. But, maybe they feel like they're not suited for the playoffs. Tua's a little beat up. If they do get in, they have to go to Buffalo in the cold against a team they struggle with, against a juggernaut team. So maybe it's not the end of the world if they don't make the playoffs, but, so Huntley in. I know they beat the Browns last week. The Browns are really, really struggling, but the Dolphins defense is playing a lot better. But I'll take the Jets as long as Rodgers plays. Some people kind of hinting at maybe he does. Maybe that's it. They're done. I think there's one more farewell, I guess, if you will. It's not really a good farewell, a good goodbye with the Jets, but and I could totally see Rodgers and Devontae Adams lining it up in their last game. So this is contingent on Rodgers playing, which I expect him to. I'll take the Jets 23-19, and you can parlay the Jets in an alternate line. We had quite a few of those in this one, plus 4.5, because this game will stay tight. It absolutely has, unless Rodgers is out. I still think it could stay tight, but. We'll take the Jets right now, 23-19. This game means nothing, absolutely nothing, but I'm actually kind of excited about this game. This could be fun. Josh Dobbs, revenge game, going against the Cardinals, and I almost predicted more of a shootout. I'm kind of feeling more scoring than everyone's expecting, but there could be a lot of running clock, and Cardinals defense has been playing better, so there's a chance that a backup quarterback-led Niners team doesn't do a lot, but I like this prediction here. The Niners been bumped down to +4, underdogs by 4. I kind of like it. Dobbs is a tough game plan. We saw it when he came in for the Vikings last year. You're kind of game planning for more of a pocket passer, Brock Purdy, and now you got the scrambler. It's tough to do when your season's over and on short notice. I know the Cardinals know about Dobbs, but that can be a little bit of an issue. He's throwing to Juwan Jennings, who he's familiar with from Tennessee Vols days. Ricky Pearsall really getting going. They're out there having fun. Debo's probably last game with the 49ers, we feel. Kittle's still going to ball out. They can run the ball. I like the Niners, the Dobbs revenge game here, but 1 point squeaker. Cardinals, of course, the Niners defense is struggling lately. That's why I think shootout, Kyler Murray can get things going. Cardinals defense is playing pretty decent, though. My thing here is how Cardinal season's over. Do they go full go James Conner? I think James Conner could dice up the Niners. If they told me right now for sure they're going full go, full game James Conner, the Cardinals are probably going to win this game. Season's over. Do they try to mix it up? Do they try to get Benson, some other guys going? I could see that being a possibility. Some young guys across the board. They had a very big draft class, obviously. So I think they could still win doing that. But for those reasons, I think a little more scoring than expected. I think Dobbs is a little tougher than people think. Just getting, thrown, he's getting thrown at you, as a defense. So I'll take the Niners here. +4. If you want to parlay, you want to be a little safer. You're not trusting Dobbs all that much. 10.5. I actually think that could be a fun game, believe it or not. People will probably disagree because it means nothing, but I like it. Sunday Night Football, the game of the season, a battle for the 1 seed in the NFC, a battle for the NFC North title, 2 juggernauts in the NFC North, the Vikings and Lions, and next to me is a recap of all my spread picks, but I got the Vikings winning 30-28. Part of me is like, in Detroit, Sunday nights, that offense with that crowd, the way things have been kind of going for them, prime time at home. Yeah, can they really lose that game? That's part of me here, but I'm more of an X's and O's guy. The Lions offense not only not only could win this game, could win the Super Bowl. It is that good. It is that different from the past. With the run game, with the pass game, with the unpredictability, with the how easy they can convert on 4th down and score. I mean, it's unreal. They've been pretty good. Kicking field goals too, clutch field goals, except for the extra points last game, but off topic. So, but I worry about their defense right now. Couple things. Insane amount of man coverage. It's getting so predictable. And they're very beat up. And those things could go together. Sometimes when you don't have the most experience, you kind of have to run man coverage, but they've been doing it from the start. They did mix in some zone at the end of the game against the Niners, and they got a couple interceptions on Purdy. So something to watch for this game or for the playoffs. They're going to have to mix it up more. So Lions all offense right now. The Vikings offense with all their weapons, they're very capable of scoring on this Lions defense, right? And the Vikings defense is very solid. It creates takeaways. They're kind of a bend, don't break. They're not going to stop the Lions, but that's the difference in this game. I trust both offenses. I fully trust both offenses in this game. You could argue the Lions a little bit better, but you put the defenses they're going against in the equation. That's why I like the Vikings a little bit more. They are much more balanced. Like, I don't want to sit here and say way more, but it almost feels like it right now. Yeah, due to injuries and the amount of man coverage Lions run, maybe they switch it up and just throw off Sam Darnold and the Vikings. It's very possible. I'll go with the Vikings, but again, the Lions at home and how things have been going in games at home, with them, with that crowd. It's very hard to make this pick at the same time. But I like the Vikings bounce this one. I also love what the Vikings did last week. If you watch the game against a really good Packers team, they did things a little differently. They early in the game, they had a lot of plays behind the line of scrimmage, a lot more runs early in the game. It's unlike them, so it put some different things on tape, make you go, wonder if you're doing that. And they were hitting Jalen Naylor like crazy, so it makes you, everyone's like, all right, Jefferson, Addison as he was going off, Hawkinson, and now we got to worry about this guy. So I think that puts confusing things on tape for opponents going forward. So that was actually my favorite part about the Vikings last week. So we'll lean with them, but the Lions very well could win at home with that crowd, with that offense. I will say the Vikings are letting teams come back. If they do that with the Lions, like what they did with the Packers last week, the Lions will take it. With that offense, they will go take it. Will the defense make a stop, though? I guess that's the question there. But recap all my picks against the spread. I highlighted which ones I like the most throughout the video. I wouldn't touch this one, Vikings line, just because it's going to be back and forth. Whoever has the ball last. It might be a lucky play on offense that decides it, or a lot of times in these games, there's officiating decides it. Like these weird, like big-time, prime-time games, so we're crossing our fingers, hoping not. So that's why I wouldn't. But for all those reasons, why I wouldn't bet on it. But there you have it for our last regular season weekly score predictions. Weekly pick show already up. We'll have playoff full coverage, same videos for playoffs and more. Mock draft next week. We got you covered. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. It's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.